This segment brought to you by the Nashville Pet Emergency Clinic.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Veterinarian Dr. Craig Pryor is joining us now to answer questions about your pets. And it's always great to have you with us. Thanks so much for coming.
Yes, my pleasure.
We've had a lot of folks who've called in already, so why don't we jump right in with our first caller. And it's going to be Wanda. Hi, Wanda. What's your question today?
Hi. I have a 28.8 pug that's full grown, and he's allergic to table scrapping, so he eats the grain-free dog food. But I have loved ones that gives him table scrappings when I'm not around. What can I get over the counter for the yeast that he developed in his ears, because I cannot afford to take him to a vet at this moment?
Right. So, you know, a lot of times we see ear problems related to food allergies. So if you can get his food under control, you're probably going to get his ear problems under control. There are really no over-the-counter medications really going to help his ears, because oftentimes we see mixed infections as well. So I would be looking at a hypoallergenic type of treats. Now the big thing is he's overweight. You need to measure the food, count the treats, and if you have people feeding him when you're not around, then take him out of that situation. You know, put him in a different room when everybody's eating. Put him in his crate when no one's home, when other people are home, so he's not tempted to be in that situation. It takes about 2 months for food allergies to get under control, but get on hypoallergenic treats. They do make them for you.
Thanks for calling, Wanda. Hope that helps. Hi, Jody. What's your question for Dr. Pryor? Jody, go ahead.
Well, doctor, we have a Yorkie that is, she's about 10.5 years old, and she has Cushing disease.
Yes.
And she has the awfully smell, the odor. I mean, you can give her a bath, right? If she gets dry from a bath, she smells.
Right. So, you know, Cushing's disease is very treatable and very controllable, but we do find a lot of these dogs will get secondary infections, often secondary infections of their skin, sometimes even bladder infections. So you may be dealing with some type of infection that's creating the odor. So I would take your puppy in and have him or her rechecked and just see where they're at with that, and make sure you mention to the veterinarian that's what's going on. Got an odor there. Jody,
thanks for that call. Hi, Betty. What's your question for the doctor today?
I have a little Pomeranian. She's almost 10 years old, and she is the finickiest thing. I have not found a dog food that she will eat. She sniffs her nose and says, "Kiss my grits." So what can you do to encourage this dog to eat?
So I've never seen a dog starve themselves to death. You know, and I don't get really hung up on dogs eating 2 or 3 times a day like we do. With my dog Moo, I put the food down. When she's hungry, she goes and eats. So, you know, a lot of times it depends on her activity. She's very active. She'll snuff a whole bowl in one day. If she's not that active, she may take 2 days to eat that food. So, you know, I would, a lot of times if you're feeding from the table because you want to see them eat, I've seen dogs go 2 or 3 days without eating their dog food because they know there's a steak at the end of that trail. So just remember that, whose will is stronger.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hi, Mary, what's your question today?
Hello. I have a 10-pound Chihuahua, and he is a very picky eater. He will not eat any kind of dog food I've ever bought for him, and unfortunately, I've been feeding him over the table. I just wonder if there's some certain, you know, human food that I can feed him without hurting him bad.
Right. So most human foods are too high in salts, fats, and spices. We deal with a very common problem in dogs called pancreatitis. Pancreatitis tends to be a result of feeding human foods, and it will shorten their lives. So I would talk to your veterinarian about how to get them onto a really good quality food and move them very, very slowly. It may take you 2 to 3 weeks to get them over onto a good quality food, but you should be able to achieve that. Just discuss that with your regular veterinarian.
All right, important things to talk about today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Glad we could help.
Appreciate it. All right, you'll find Dr. Craig Pryor taking care of all the animals over at Love at First Sight and at Murphy Road Animal Hospital in Sylvan Park.